All right, well, welcome. Frank Giustra joins us from Los Angeles, and we have Michael Saylor in Miami. Gentlemen, I have eagerly been awaiting this day, so welcome Frank, and welcome Michael.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. So as I stated in the opening, we're going to start with opening statements. You'll have 5 minutes each here. We decided ahead of the debate, and Michael will kick things off for us. This will be 5 minutes of uninterrupted time. Please consider it your blank canvas, in a sense, to set the statements you'd like to make during this debate. Michael, please kick things off for us here.
Thanks, Danielle. So the debate is Bitcoin versus gold. I think that all gold holders and all Bitcoin holders agree on sound money principles, and the real debate is which is the best monetary system in order to pursue the ideals of sound money. So I think we start with some basic ideas. First of all, human civilization rises through channeling energy. We invented fire, that's capturing chemical energy. Then we build our cities next to rivers, we're capturing water, and we're channeling gravitational energy. The aqueducts were critical to the Roman civilization. When we compress air in a canister, we're channeling pressure. Electric systems and batteries are channeling energy. Lasers are channeling photons. If we want to better the human condition, we need to be able to capture, store, and channel that energy. Money is energy. Money is a store of value, and it's also a technology that allows us to trade that energy over time and space. So if we look at the history of money, we've gone from commodity money to coinage of those commodities, to notes represented by that money, to fiat currency, and now we have cryptography as a basis of money. Now, sometimes gold advocates say that gold is the ideal money. Well, really, the ideal money, if God came down and God waved his or her hand and created the ideal money, it would be based upon Luca Pacioli's modern accounting principles of double entry accounting. And if you had godlike power and you could implement a double entry ledger like Pacioli introduced in 1494, and perhaps you could define 21 million units that are infinitely subdividable, trillions and trillions of times each. You could maintain that in magic space, and then you could settle everybody's trades instantly everywhere on Earth, everywhere in the universe, in a fair and equitable fashion. That would be a good money. We could call that God coin. And God coin is like perfect instant transactions, never losing any information. Well, the next best thing that we've invented as humans is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's the most efficient monetary system we've yet to implement successfully. It's 21 quadrillion Satoshis, 350,000 transactions a day. It cost about 10 basis points of the monetary network to clear those transactions and to secure the network. And it stores the value and provides security to everybody on the network effectively for free after those transaction fees. Bitcoin's the most disruptive force in the century. In 12 years, it grew to $1 trillion in monetary value. That beats Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and the like. That's the market sending us a message. It's the next chapter in the mobile wave. We digitized our photos, we digitized our videos. Now we're going to digitize our money, and our currency and assets are going to flow to billions of people. Money is collapsing. We've got a massive inflation problem. We're losing 1% of our value in currencies every single month. Humanity without an effective, strong money is like a type 1 diabetic without insulin. You can't store energy, you can't create fat, you're going to starve to death. Without delivering effective money to the human race, everybody's going to either economically freeze or starve to death. Violence and misery are going to follow. Gold's not a solution. It's not practical to distribute gold in small quantities to 5 billion people. Bitcoin is a solution. It is spreading at more than 200% a year. We're adding 3 million users a week. It's accelerating. If I wanted to give knowledge, music, and money to the world, in the 19th century, you did it with books, pianos, and gold. they're now antiques for the elite. In the 21st century, you're going to use the internet platform and Bitcoin, and you're going to provide iBooks and Google and YouTube. You're going to provide Apple Music and Amazon Music and Spotify to everybody. And you're going to provide Bitcoin as an asset for everybody. Gold used to be the best solution. It isn't anymore. The time has come to pass the torch from gold to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's humanity's first effective engineered monetary system. It's as profound as our rail networks, our road networks, our electrical networks, our telephone networks, and the internet. Bitcoin can and will deliver the virtues of strong money the gold idealists have long hoped for.
Michael, thank you for your opening statements. Now we'll go to Frank Giustra with your opening remarks. Please, 5 minutes of uninterrupted time.
Thank you. And Michael, thanks for agreeing to this debate. And congratulations on your Bitcoin position. You've done very well. And I'm looking forward to exploring the facts, okay? So as I've said a number of times recently, I don't have a problem with Bitcoin. I think it's here to stay in some form or some value for some purpose. I'm not sure what that purpose is yet. I do have quite a few issues with the way you and others have made certain claims about Bitcoin. And I want to point out the risks that exist but are never addressed. And I want to defend some of the statements that you've made about gold. And in doing all that, I'm hoping to draw a distinction between what Bitcoin is, what it isn't, what maybe it aspires to be. Understanding that distinction is very important because you need to assess that distinction to assess its risk profile and therefore where it fits in any given portfolio. I think our viewers deserve to know that risk, and they need to know how that distinction happens between gold and Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin is a safe haven asset yet. I think there's a very good chance it never will be. I think it may aspire to be, but aspiring to be something doesn't make it so. And sometimes I dance around the living room in my underwear, but it doesn't make me Madonna. So as far as your claims on gold, I'm not really sure what you're trying to achieve by disparaging gold. I mean, I do have a theory, and you're welcome to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think you're trying to create a narrative for a higher price for Bitcoin. And in order to do that, you need to convince everyone out there that gold is worthless, and all of that value that currently resides in gold will be all transferred, all $12 trillion of it will be transferred to Bitcoin. And in that way, you can justify a $500,000 Bitcoin price or $1 million Bitcoin price. Otherwise, why would anybody pay $60,000 today without that target in mind? I can't see any other way where you can make the kind of claims that you're making about where the price, where Bitcoin is going. And I think it's a really clever approach, and I take my hat off to you. You've been very effective. In many ways, I think it's sad because I think Bitcoin believers and gold believers agree on 90% of everything. And we fall apart on this last 10% of which one is better. And I think it's all part and parcel of this binary attitude that exists in the discourse in America today. You're either on one side or the other, and there's no middle ground. But I see it as a strategy of your strategy where the stakes are kind of do or die. It's sort of a Game of Thrones per se. But the truth is we're only in the first season, and there are a lot of risks that lie ahead of us. And the question you have to ask is, will you still be alive in season 8? And I just don't think you are presenting the risks that face Bitcoin in order to get there and survive. You like to pretend those risks don't exist, and you gloss over them because I think you're in a race to win. And I think that's kind of sad. But pretending that Bitcoin is a risk-free asset is just, I think, naive. Because if you fail to subsume the entire value of gold, what are you left with? You're left with hoping that a greater fool is going to come in and pay a higher price. I think the threats are real, and I think the biggest threats are going to come from government and central banks. History has shown that governments go to extreme lengths to protect their monopoly on currency, and they will not tolerate a global decentralized currency. It's just not going to happen. And especially if we have, say, a dollar crisis, which I think we can all assume is coming somewhere down the road. And your claims that Bitcoin is untouchable, unstoppable, are simply not true. And by the way, you don't have to kill Bitcoin with a death blow. You can severely damage or kill it with multiple cuts. So you've been very effective at pretending that there aren't risks, and I think I'm going to spend most of this conversation just pointing out where the risks exist. And I just think telling your viewers that Bitcoin is going to double every 6 months is, I have a lot of trouble with that. So whatever the outcome is on this is on you. But perhaps you'll change my mind, and so let's get on to it.
All right.
Let's get on with it.
Fantastic opening remarks from you both. Thank you for that. Now let's get into the meat of it.